Okay, so I don't like the ominous music, so I'll just... Do we have something more relaxing streamers, please? Yes! Inspiration music from BG3. Nice. Okay, I'll just start the streaming and get going because I'll be up for a couple hours max. So, hello to anyone who joined. If you know me, well, you know me. If you don't know me, you will very soon. How do I forgot to put my screen on the screen. I am a genius. Yeah, it's not gonna be a real game capture, but still. Streamlabs, no. I don't want to capture Streamlabs. I want to capture Chrome. This is why usually people do the tests beforehand, because then stuff like this happens and it's very annoying. So let me see again. Browser source. No. It's gonna be window capture. Yes. Exactly. It's gonna capture. Yes. The Gygax 75 challenge. Okay. Now we're talking. But now it covers everything. So, plus 4. Fit to stream. It's a little bit nicer to see. I will put it in the background because covers everything. Oh, come on. Where is it again? No, I don't want to flip it. You know what? We'll just do this. Boom! Done! That took a while, but no, too ominous again. Okay. So, yeah, the idea is basically to go through the guide written by Mr. Gygax in 1975 to, well, hopefully get usable campaign settings. Supposedly in 5 weeks. We'll see about that. But this document is not like the original article that Gygax published. It's like a guide that someone compiled. Yeah. Otis guide compiled under while getting all the information from the original article. So it's yeah, divided literally in weeks. So I don't know if we will do the whole first week today because we do the introduction and stuff. So I'll see about that. But basically, yeah, we have. What if I fall behind? Do I need to read the article? How much of those do matter? Then week 1 is gonna be the concept, okay? Week 2, the surrounding area. So I guess, oh yeah, the hex map, so the actual map. Then week 3, the dungeon, and then town features. Okay, and then week 5, the large world. Okay, interesting. I never read the document, so I have no idea what we'll find, what we'll have to do, but I've got the document open here, just if we start writing something. I don't know, we'll see, it's gonna be interesting. And, I don't know for you, but the music is a little too high for me, okay? It's a little better. So yeah, I mean, it's not a super long document, because it's only like 31 pages, so it shouldn't be like super long to read through. However, the big part of the thing that I want to do is to actually build the campaign settings, which will be the tough part to achieve. But yeah, so let's start with the introduction. How to set up your Dungeons and Dragons campaign and be stuck referring it 7 days per week until the wee hours of the morning. And that's an oddly specific title if I ever saw one. This rather descriptive and lengthy title appeared at the top of an article written by Gygax for the April 1975 wargaming newsletter Europa. Gary's how-to article suggests a 5-step process that is both interesting and practical. I'm not sure it has been improved upon much in the intervening decades of gaming. Though helpful as advice, Gygax speaks in pretty broad terms. In this workbook I have broken down his advice into creative prompts and achievable tasks that will help you develop a campaign setting over the course of just 5 weeks. Which is, I mean, if it's something that you can that we will actually do, it might be actually nice, because a whole, like a full-fledged setting in 5 weeks is cool. It's something cool to have. I've also taken the liberty of reproducing the original article in its entirety in the back of this booklet, so I'm assuming it's gonna be in the end pages. The article was advertised as part of 2 of a series. I've been unable to locate part 1 of this date. Ooh, mysteries already. Part 3, First Adventures in Dungeoneering, contains minimal advice for running a session and a short sample of play. You can read it on Gygax's blogspot. I don't even know if this link will be... Probably it's sold. Okay. Using the workbook, maybe we can check with the Wayback Machine actually. Let me check. Wayback Machine. I just want to see if there's any snapshot of that page, just out of sheer curiosity. So, last one is 2023, which is still more recent than the file, because the file was dated 2020. I mean, let's stick to the latest. Oh, there was a 27. Too late. Yeah, the Wayback Machine is gonna take a while. Nah, okay. It was already removed back then. I'll try. I'm doing this just for curiosity. Just to see if we can actually fetch the other part of the article, but I don't know if that's something that we can do. Yeah, it already says blogging on phone, so yeah. Okay, big F for that, but okay, let's keep going. So using this workbook, you will establish a setting concept and pitch, develop a basic map for early exploration, create a dungeon of several levels. That's something I need for my campaign actually. Detail a sizable nearby town, and begin the process of expanding your world. So it's gonna be basically a small scale thing that you can eventually scale up if needed. But it's nice because you never want to start super big from the get-go and put a lot of stuff, because it might be kind of difficult to handle. So you are allowed 1 week, no more no less, for each step. That may sound a bit overwhelming, but don't overthink it. Just get started. No, okay, I'll get started. I'm sorry. So sorry. How to use this book? So you want to start your very own campaign. I already did actually, but I wanted to just see how this goes. Perhaps this is your first world building impulse and you don't know where to start, or maybe you have tried to build out a setting before and gotten overwhelmed. This section answers some of the basic questions and fears that may in your way. There's probably a typo there that may be in your way, I guess. If you're an old hand at world building, this section will help you set your expectations correctly. I can't make a whole world in just a few weeks. I mean, you can make it in a few days. That is correct. This is a creative exercise, a way to get a campaign started. Okay, hopefully it is just beginning of something much larger. The results you get from working through these exercises each week will neither be perfect nor complete and shouldn't be. The intent is for you, the GM, to develop the basic ideas in one small area of a new campaign mode, then to stay a few places ahead of the players. A few paces ahead of the players. Okay, building the world out in the direction of your interest and need they telegraph them to you in play. Okay, so again, yeah, you start small and then you build up the stuff you actually need as you go. So that's very nice. I've heard that Ernest Hemingway stopped writing each day in the middle of a sentence. Not because he ran out of ideas, but because he knew exactly how he intended to finish that sentence. When he sat back down at the typewriter the following day, there was no agonizing over where or how to begin. No blank page syndrome. He just finished the sentence and kept going. Okay. I mean, I guess that's the way to do things. The loose ends you leave behind will give you your project energy and serve as scaffolding or spurs for future construction. Don't think of them as things you didn't get done. Think of them as opportunities. Well, I mean, everything is an opportunity in D&D if you are willing to improvise. That's solid advice for sure. One of the keys to just about any creative efforts is to make multiple passes over your material, each time layering on fresh ideas or adding the clarity that comes with hindsight. Okay, I see what they're saying. As you return to these loose ends opportunities, you will find things coming into focus that were previously hazy. You may also find that you now have perfect ideas with which to fill the holes you left behind. This sounds so wrong. I mean, there were so many ways to put this down. They did it on purpose, I'm sure. You will find that your world becomes richer and richer as you incorporate ideas from actual play events or newly discovered sources of inspiration. What if I won't work ahead? Don't! Okay, next. Choose a pace up front. Gygax seems to suggest a fairly tight timeline for doing all the steps, presumably a matter of days. Okay. If you have the energy to work in a focused manner for long hours at a time, go ahead and change the time scale to 5 days instead of 5 weeks. Wow, one of these things per day? Okay. It's more likely that you are working around demands of a day job and will need 5 weeks. Well, the story of everybody, I think. Or maybe you just want to spread out the work so that you don't burn out and have time to really explore each step. Okay. If you find yourself finishing each step early, then do the extra credit assignments. Or review and tweak the work you've already done to make it better instead of moving to the next week. You might also invent your own exercises, yeah, because more homework is always better for some reason. Visit a museum, take a hike in an area that reminds you of your setting, do some extra reading to gather inspiration. That's something cool, actually, to do as a extra homework method. What you shouldn't do is flex your timeline. A flexible timescale can lead to treating deadlines as optional, which could in turn lead to failure to finish. Yeah, that's true as well. Your music is really loud compared to your voice. Okay, this is basically 0. So I'll put the bare minimum for the music. At least I'll try. Okay, and I'll crank up my microphone a bit. I think this should be already a little bit better, but I think if I do more than this, it will start like clipping a lot, and I don't want that. It's good. Okay, nice. But yeah, thank you for joining, by the way. And sorry, I was so focused on reading the stuff. We started, so you didn't miss anything. It's just it's just introduction, basically, on what the guide is supposed to do in like 5 weeks of work, and supposedly tips and tricks on how to not fall behind schedule. Need ideas. It's not like I need ideas because I'm already running a campaign with colleagues. I don't know if you're one of them or not, because I only see your nickname, but if you know me, you know me. But I just thought it would be nice to do this, to follow this Gygax guide to world building, just to see what another DM could do, like at least the original designer of the game would do in terms of world building. And so yeah, I mean, I just thought it would be fun to write a new setting from scratch and maybe eventually use it in the future. But yeah, ideas are always welcome in any case, because D&D is okay, sorry. No, don't be sorry. It's just that yeah, I just wanted to do this thing, but yeah, at some point we will need ideas, I think, because we will need to write stuff at some point, because the guide talks about, you know, materials and idea and homeworks, assignment that you have to do each week. So yeah, we will need ideas for sure. My only good idea are a kobold villain. I mean, kobolds are kind of, I don't want to say they're kind of evil as a base, they're just pricks, let's say. But a kobold villain is, I mean, why not? Could be anything. Do you have any, like, is the kobold supposed to be a big bad evil guy in the end, or is it just one of the minions of the BBAG? Because yeah, that could be interesting to discuss. Anyway, while reply, I'll just keep reading through the thing, because this is only the introduction. Then we'll have to get to the actual work for each week. So, what if I want to work ahead? Don't choose the pace. Yeah, you shouldn't flex your timeline. A flexible timescale can lead to treating deadlines as optional, which could internally to failure to finish. Okay, we don't want to do that. So we'll do one thing each week and stick to schedule, and hopefully in 1 month we'll have the base for a campaign setting. Supposedly, allegedly, we don't know yet. What materials will I need? You'll need this booklet and some place to store your ideas. So I got the booklet, I've got a place to store my ideas. I recommend a tough physical journal. We don't do that here, like, at all. There is something really satisfying about working in the old school low-tech mode of physically make marks on paper. Working digitally is also acceptable, of course, and it is easier in many ways. It's just acceptable. On the other hand, your workstation will be somewhat less portable and visceral than a journal and a grip full of pens. I mean, my workstation will be my phone. I've got Google Docs on my phone, so what do you mean with this? Huh? Whatever medium you use, allow the process to be messy. Don't try to make your first pass complete, fully organized, or even totally readable. Okay. Instead, commit to getting ideas down quickly and then revising them as needed to bring depth and clarity. Okay, so it's like a layered work, basically. There will be time later to make your notes presentable if that's your goal. Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense as an advice, because as a DM, you are the only person that actually has to know what happens and what the notes mean. So even if you just want to scribble a couple words for each page, it doesn't really matter. Ooh. I saw I'm catch up with the message, because I got, like, the chat is on the screen and the stuff I'm looking at is on the screen, so I have to catch up every time. Do you want a small-scale villain or the big bad? I have both versions. Okay. The small-scale version is kobold with gigantism that has a gang. She lives in an abandoned house and her gang steals around small stuff for a horde. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, but wouldn't a giant kobold just be a dragon? I know that it isn't, but I think it's a fun debate to have. Because on the other hand, like, a small-scale dragon would just be either Dragonborn or a kobold, right? But I would like to know also the big-scale kobold villain. That's an interesting idea. What if I want to publish the results? Get that idea out of your head for now. These exercises help you create a word of play, not for publication, of course. Publishing is beyond the scope of the steps and advice in this booklet. However, the more you invest in this creative stage of the process, the more your material will find its best form for being communicated to others. Okay. Knowing which elements resonate with players, which things to introduce first or emphasize, and what ideas need further expansion are important steps in the journey towards a published setting. In the end, it's largely your choice when and how you share your work, obviously, but I mean, at some point you have to share it with the players anyway, so... a better question is probably whether you have the drive to get from a set of campaign notes to a published setting. The last 10% of any project is 90% of the work. Yeah, that's really true, actually. The first stop for your creation, however, should absolutely be the gaming table. Play in your world for a while before you try to write it up for others to use. Actual play will make your setting far stronger. Yeah, because while you play, I see what they're getting at. Like, while you play, you actually get the feeling and the ideas and the details of the NPCs and the roads and the towns and I don't know, the signs for the roads and all the stuff that you don't really think about when you're just writing your material, basically. So okay, do we need to read the article? I mean, we're already doing it, so why put the question in the article itself? I mean, also, why put it so far down? You could put it in the beginning. The instructions in this booklet are based on the aforementioned article by Gygax. However, the steps for each week are self-contained and should be clear without any previous knowledge of the article, specifically, or world building in general. Even so, I would encourage you to read the article. Actually, right now is the perfect time, as it will give you a bird's eye view of the project before you begin. Let's keep going. I mean, we are here to get our hands dirty with world building, so The giant party is just a kobold, but normal person height. Yeah, makes sense. Big Scale 1 is a kobold who found an item that allows her to mind control dragons, so she's a kobold with a dragon thrall she uses to run a cult and army. Ooh, this I like way more, because I can already see like some kind of stratification of build up towards the BBEG, you know, for players. Well, because you know it's a kobold that's controlling a dragon thrall, but they don't know it, so you can build the whole thing around the fake impression that the big bad evil guy is the dragon, but then you put in some hints that will make them wonder, maybe there's someone behind that. And then they will be thinking about who could possibly be behind that, behind the dragon, and then they find out it's just a kobold, and you're like, what the fuck, that's like level 2 enemy. That would be fun though, would be very, very fun as an idea. I like it. I lost my... yeah, does it work only for fantasy game? The setting it will create assumes dungeons and the town with wilderness in between. It also assumes some challenges in the form of monsters and rewards in the form of treasures, but feel free to interpret these concepts any way you like. The underlying structure supports an adventure game in which characters raid a nearby level and mysterious structure in order to increase their fortune. Okay, so they are saying, yeah, you can still use it for almost whatever you want, but still know that it's basically you will create a dungeon at some point. So if a dungeon fits the story you're telling, go ahead, otherwise maybe it's not the thing for you. Aside from that, you can work with any game system or genre. For instance, you might develop a cyberpunk setting in which the dungeon is a tower of valuable data protected by monstrous antivirus constructs. Characters begin in their secure home stack and raid the tower virtually by jacking in, or maybe the digital entities themselves. But I like the ideas of the cyberpunk dungeon, actually. Feel free to get wild, the structure is more flexible than you might think. Okay. How much do the rules I choose matter? The system you use matters a lot, actually. You can choose about any set of rules and genre as long as you understand the built-in assumptions referenced above, so town, wilderness, and dungeon. So again, they're telling us whatever reference in the article is made to towns, wilderness, and dungeons. They're just assuming you're playing D&D basically, or at least a high fantasy setting. but you can still just follow the guide even if you're playing a cyberpunk setting. You just have to swap out the town for the city, the wilderness for the, I don't know, the outskirts of the city, and the dungeon is just the tower that they referenced like above. So okay, it's still, they still allow for some flexibility. They say, however, once you choose a system, this workbook assumes you are building on top of it. If you are an inveterate tinkerer and are trying to, or forced to design or design system elements as you do the exercises, you are committing to a lot of extra work and you may have trouble finishing within the expected time frame. Okay. If you find yourself in this predicament, I have a suggestion. Ignore the problem for now. It's best life philosophy. Ignore the problem for now. It will eventually go away. All solve itself. Go ahead and build out your campaign setting and assume things you need are in the system. Okay. Do you need a witch hunter class or a sanity mechanic? You need a rack of alien monsters? Assume the system has it. Or it will have it. Just keep a list of system elements you need to create or adapt as you go without actually doing the work for now. Okay, so they're saying as if you feel like you are, I don't know, writing a Cthulhu setting and you need the insanity mechanic, just put a block that says insanity mechanic comes in play, and then you just think about how it will work, but then you still keep writing your stuff. I'm going back to the chat for a second because I see there's a new message. Coupled with the dragon thrall. Okay. Her name was Silver Bullet. She gave herself that name. And while she mainly uses the dragon as her figurehead, she harnesses a lot of mana from the dragon, so she's fairly powerful on her own. I mean, you have to be powerful on your own for sure to have a thrall dragon, so nice. The plot idea I had in mind is that there's this young dragon who's been building an army / cult around himself, and the party would be going against it. Of course, it's the kobold's work who's just using the dragon to speak for her. Okay, so it's an interesting concept for sure. It kind of reminds me of the not really the introduction, but it kind of reminds me of the sub of the plot in you know, from basically Critical Role. They're the campaign from which they made the Amazon series, and because there was the dragon invasion, but also there was kind of political intrigue involved. It's nice. So it's an interesting concept. The again, I don't know at what point of the building you are at this point, or at what point of the story, if you started playing or not. I have no idea. One thing I like to do in my campaigns or in the one-shots also that I write is always give some specific motivation to whoever is doing the stuff they're doing to do the stuff they're doing. So to put it more simply, in more simple terms, in your example, like it's nice to have the idea of the kobold controlling the dragon thrall and building the army and the cult, but I feel the point that's missing is why is she doing that, you know? Like, because the big bad evil guy always has to have a point, it has to have an objective. It can be just evil because they are dicks, of course, but usually if they have a motivation, you know, your players will be like, when they find out the motivation, they'll be like, ooh, that's evil. Or maybe some players will be like, ooh, that's cool. Depends. So yeah, it would be nice to know why she. I would start with a series of, you know, series of questions of why, and then why, and like every time you give an answer to your first why, then you ask yourself why again. That's usually a good technique to give players a lot of details. The Silver Bullet motivation is that the dragon she's controlling used to make kobolds work for it. basically using kobolds as slaves, and so Silverwood is sick and tired of kobolds being seen as scaly goblins. Ooh, so she's got vengeance as a base. Okay, base motivation, nice. I mean, vengeance makes evil characters relatable, for sure, because when you are on a path for vengeance, you usually have motivations behind the vengeance that you're seeking, and so a lot of times players will kind of struggle between the, you know, I understand your motivations, but also you're doing like evil stuff. So, but yeah, vengeance is a good motivation. Is a good like it's a nice touch to give to an evil character, because again it makes them pretty solid about the fact that, I mean, yeah, I'm doing evil stuff, but I've been, in this case, we've been slaves and we've been considered scaly goblins for like centuries. So nice. That's cool. But you can go also even deeper. You know, that's what I was I wanted to get to. It's nice to start with the first why. So like Silver Bullet is doing this. So she's creating the army, the cult, and she has the dragon troll. Why? Because kobolds have been enslaved for years and centuries, and now they're sick of it. And then you can ask yourself again, why is this? And then you go, because, I don't know, the society, or historically speaking, this happened, and this event happened, and so goblins were enslaved to avoid the repetition of this event in history. Maybe they accumulated too much power at some point. And then you can ask yourself again, why did they accumulate too much power, and why was the rest of the world scared of them? And you know, the more you ask yourself why, the more details you can create and you can put. So obviously you don't want to exaggerate, because then at some point you'll just start making up stuff that doesn't have any sense. But I think going like 3-4 layers deep is gives you a pretty good overview, or a pretty good group of ideas on which you can actually work, you know. The idea is that she started out just controlling the dragon, so she would stop overworking, okay, the kobolds, but she kept seeing her kind being looked down upon even aside from dragons, so she decided to impose respect for herself and her kind. Okay? And that's another great answer. And then again, at this point you can ask yourself, why have they been looked upon even outside the dragon race? Like, why all the races, including dragons, were always looking down on kobolds? And then I think that goes more in the direction of the society that you're trying to build in your world. So you can give some kind of either, again, historical motivation, economical motivation, something that impacts more people, that involves more people, as again, because I feel the answer to the why of this question would involve society, generally speaking, or social interactions. So, but it's nice. Kobolds, I think kobolds deserve a little bit more relevance, because they are usually, you know, just low-level enemies that you throw at players at level 1, level 2, and then they disappear forever. Although they can be very, very annoying if you throw like a mob of 10-15 goblins, kobolds all together, because they have like their stat block when they are a lot gets pretty fucked up. Their stat block when you have like 15 goblins together is like, I don't want to say it's broken, but it can be difficult to keep up even level 4 or 5. Okay, then we are starting with week 1. I'll finish the introduction then. Do I have to do the steps as written? Of course not. Obviously. This workbook offers structures and exercises that will get you started. You can see them as the minimum you need to get going, or you can look at the spirit of each thing they accomplish and use entirely different methods. For instance, in week 3 you will build a dungeon. There are probably hundreds of tutorials out there that you could use to create several levels of a dungeon. You don't have to use mine. If this is not good marketing, I mean, come on, a little bit more motivation. If you get a dungeon sketched out, no matter how you got there, you have met the challenge in my estimation. Okay, having said that, you're once again making the problem bigger if you don't have a method that you already are comfortable with in mind. You're going to be making hundreds of choices over the next few weeks, and it's a big cognitive load. Why not trust the process and let it take some of the burden off your shoulders? I mean, we are reading a guide, and the trust the process mindset is the one we are supposed to have. Okay, so week 1, I'm just scrolling ahead just to see. So week 1 we have the tasks, the extra credit. Okay, we have a specific example written down. Okay, and then week 2. Given it's 2041, I think we'll go for week 1, and maybe I'll try to do this up for next week at this point, since it's divided in weeks. It makes sense for yeah, I can try for like next Tuesday to have this stuff already written down. Ooh. I saw your reply. Basically, kobolds are just seen as smaller dragonborns. They are not tough or fearsome, and they're just so unassuming people just push them aside. They're usually used as low-paid workers or straight-up slaves by dragons. Yeah, but why? I'm not trying to question yourself. I'm just trying to be annoying because it's not annoying, but you know, trying to get deeper, because I always like to, when I have an idea that I like, I always want to also put myself in the, you know, in the heads of the players, because some players will just accept what you're saying. They will just say, yeah, okay, I'm one of those people that thinks that kobolds are just smaller dragonborns. I don't care about them. I agree with the rest of the people. But some players will be very curious and they will challenge you, saying just, they will not ask like super complex questions. They will try to find out why. They will ask you why, and making a why that is this complex on the spot can be a lot. So, so yeah, why could why could kobolds be seen so badly? Because I mean, they are described like that in in the manuals, I know, but I don't know, maybe in the world you're writing, maybe there's a specific reason why kobolds are just considered like lowly dragonborns, like they're not even considered in the same race, because basically they kind of are the, let's say they are the same descendants, if anything. Week 1. Okay, so week 1 is the concept. I will put it in the title here, let's say. Well, the title, but the header. This will just be... Okay, the concept. Nice. Articulate the big ideas and gather sources. Makes a lot of sense. This one is heading 3, and this one will put heading 4, because it would make sense, right? Yes. Okay, next. Step 1 is something you do in your head. Now, fantasy slash swords and sorcery games need not have any fixed base for the assumptions made by its referee. My own doesn't, except those which embrace the whole of fantasy. This sort of a campaign can mix any and all of the various bases which will be mentioned below, and then some. Setting based upon limits, if one can speak of fantasy limits, can be very interesting in themselves, providing the scope of the setting will allow the players relative free reign of their imaginations. EGG, okay. So yeah, basically Gygax here is saying that you imagine in your head what sort of world or campaign you want to generally, like very broadly describe, and then you either take everything from the fantasy elements, or you can put like some technology in a fantasy environment, or you can put a fantasy touch in a technological environment. So yeah, you can say like it's a mix and match game, but you have to know the limits of your system. So yeah, I saw a video actually on YouTube about one of the DMs I follow. I think it was Monkey DM, where he was playing this game, where like a D&D game, but he was playing a campaign where a specific school of magic was not banned. It didn't exist in that world. I don't remember now which one it is, but basically it's the school of magic that has revivify and can resurrect people. And so basically that campaign was a campaign without the possibility of resurrecting people, because that school of magic doesn't exist. And it was a really nice concept, because then he went ahead making examples of how banning, quote-unquote, some specific schools of magic from the D&D books allows you to create worlds that you see in the movie. Like, there was another school of magic that, if deleted from the game, would basically give you Dune. Again, I don't remember which one. I should find the video, because it was very interesting. But I don't know, it was a cool concept. Ooh. Basically, there used to be a kobold empire, ooh, I like, of sorts, along with empires and kingdoms of other races. Then a war happened and the kobolds got massacred, so their population was assimilated into other nations as prisoners and war slaves. Okay, you can use all these, by the way, I allow. I mean, honestly, they're all cool ideas, and we are working on a campaign setting to prepare in 5 weeks, so if you want to stick around for 5 weeks, I mean, why not? We can work on it together. I would be super happy to do that, because again, I don't need a campaign setting for myself right now. I already have it kind of prepared for the campaign I'm running with my colleagues. If you need to put down an actual campaign setting, this is what we're doing. So nice. Okay, let's do that. We'll see what the guide says, but it's already a nice. I mean, as you can see, there are already a lot of details in your description. Like that's already a lot of stuff, because now again, to go back to being annoying, you mention a war and empire, and then you can ask yourself again, why was there an empire? How did they build it? Why did the war start? Were the kobolds the ones starting the war, or was one or more of the neighboring kingdoms that kind of got jealous or scared and they attacked first? And that would be so nice. Like, it's already a lot of ideas. It's already very, very nice to work on. But yeah, let's get with our tasks. Let's get going. So get/create a notebook. We have it, although it's digital. If you're intimidated by nice journals, get a run-of-the-mill spiral notebook to start, or start by throwing your fancy journal down the stairs a few times and spill coffee on it to teach it who's. Why? Why all this violence against, like, paper? Seriously, get something that works for you, fancy or humble, no use, cheap or pricey, graphed or line blank. If you prefer, you can work digitally, of course, keep in a folder of bookmarks, story docs, cloud drive, yeah, okay. Then, develop your pitch. Write down 3-7 well-crafted bullet points that will both communicate and sell the world to your players. Each bullet should be concise and focused. A few clear sentences is plenty. Emphasize the most essential bits for establishing excitement, expectations, and tone. Your pitch will give players an idea of what they can expect to find or not find in your setting, and will help create suitable character concepts. Okay, you know what? We will start with that. We will start with the pitch, and the guide says 3 to 7 bullet points, so I mean, we will do 7, because why should we limit ourselves, right? Okay, 5, 6, 7. Let me see the other point, the last point. If gather your sources of inspiration, list them and provide a sentence or two explaining what your source brings to the setting. Cull your list so that it has no more than 7 entries. This can be tough, but I think it's important to focus the ideas so you aren't getting dragged into too many directions at first. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You don't want to... I mean, honestly, 7 entries as sources and inspiration, it's already a lot to me, because, like, imagine merging Narnia, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, and other, like, 3 things. It would be like, what the hell is going on? Make sure the sources are referenced by your pitch points in some way. Sources are for you. You don't have to share them with the players, and players shouldn't have to be familiar with them, but you can never know that in the end. In fact, Gygax will tell you not to share them, as they might spoil some of the surprise for players, or players might expect you use part of them you don't need to. I mean, I understand what they are saying here for the article, but Gygax was also the guy that was playing behind a fully covered black DM screen so that the players couldn't see him physically, like they could only hear the voice. Like okay, maybe this is a little bit too much. I mean, you know, because if my players tell me we want to play Guardians of the Galaxy, like, everybody knows what Guardians of the Galaxy is, I know it, they know it. If we want to play, like, a Starfinder campaign based on Guardians of the Galaxy, like, doesn't... Honestly, I don't think it impacts that much the fact that they know the source material, so... It's okay. But anyway, develop your pitch. Let's start working on our pitch at this point, because, like, we have 3 tasks. One is already completed, because we have the notebook. We need the pitch, we need the inspiration, and then we'll see the extra credits. But so, let's review our chat. Kobolds, they used to live in mountain valleys, and which were resource rich, and they didn't allow other kingdoms to use their territory for mining. So the other empires made a deal to raid the kingdom and split the earnings, expecting more resistance. However, the kobolds didn't have a central king-queen, so each tribe was left to fend for itself, and they got annihilated. Okay. So, my idea here is to maybe, since, like, the pitch is supposed to be the pitch that you give to your players to sell them the setting, right? So to me, it would make more sense to maybe put things in chronological order and very broadly describe, like, not too many details, as the guide says, like, just bullet points, sell word to your players, and it has to be concise and focused. So we have to emphasize the most essential bits for establishing excitement, expectation, and tone. So yeah, based on what you're saying, I would start from this last message and then work backwards on the bullet point, because it makes more sense to go from general to detailed, I think, when you describe a world to your players. Although my players didn't have any idea what they would be playing in. Like, I just told them, do you want to play? Yes, good. And then I gave them the map, so that's also a way of doing things. But they are liking it so far. So how can we describe the last message in a very short bullet point? Like, we can, you know what, we can write it down as a story. There once was a Kobold Empire, because that's the concept, right? And that's gonna be our first bullet point, I think. Like, that's basically the starting of our story, the core of what you just described, I think. There was once a Kobold Empire. The neighboring kingdoms... Ooh, not only a Kobold Empire, a thriving Kobold Empire. Because you said they had resources and mines and stuff, right? Yeah, for mining, made it, and they raided. So I would avoid putting the mines specifically in the pitch to players, because that kind of would be a spoiler for when they play the game. But you can tell them there was a thriving Kobold Empire. Kobold thriving? No, that's wrong. A thriving Kobold Empire. Yes. the neighboring kingdoms, which we can actually... we don't have to have specific ideas for the neighboring kingdoms for now. The neighboring kingdoms... let's say undermined and also invaded at this point, right? Because that's what you are basically describing. Invaded the Kobold Kingdom. Ooh, this is a cool idea. Building upon what you just said. The kobolds didn't have a central king, queen, and each tribe was left to fend for itself. So, but this is more a question I'm actually asking you, because if it were for me, I would really like the idea of saying the kobolds didn't have a queen and king in that specific moment because something happened. Like they normally would have like you know, the queen of the hive, but in this specific historical moment they didn't have one, because then that could lead to more like questions about what happened, why they didn't have one. While if you just say they were already scattered tribes, I think it would be less impactful, because then it would be like, why did the other kingdoms waited so long to invade if they were already scattered? You know, if they were already weak, why did they wait until that point? Like, what's the specific cause that triggered the invasion? You know, while if I am a neighboring kingdom of a thriving kobold kingdom that I want to invade, but they are solid, right, and they're prepared, I will not do that. I will wait for a moment where they're specifically weak. And the moment they're most weak is when they just lost the king or the queen, and then I just try to invade them, and I try to tie in all the other kingdoms so that we can actually have a chance of victory, because still kobolds are many and they're small, so that's very nice. Okay, sold. Kobold Kingdom just lost their let's say king, queen, then we'll decide which one's which. They were unprepared for the invasion. And this is already our third bullet point. Like, I know it's not really about the world, it's more about the story, the history of the world, but you know, they kind of go hand in hand, I feel. We can always change it if something doesn't add up. Okay, so the Kobold Kingdom just lost their king, queen, they were unprepared for the invasion. Then let me scroll up, because basically this is just a recap of the last message, and those are the bullet points for now. There used to be a Kobold Empire along with okay, war happened, got massacred. Okay, we've got that. No, the other big bullet point is Kobold were enslaved after losing their empire, and used as low... wait, what was the term in English again? Because my brain is not braining anymore. It was like low workers, something like that. Low paid workers, yes! That was what I was looking for. I love how we are talking about slaves and low paid workers, and then this song comes up. It's kind of crashes against the atmosphere. Can we have something a little bit more Okay, thank you. Okay. With empires and kingdoms are the reason then war happened. Okay, population was assimilated in another nation with prisoners and war slaves. Okay, so we got that. Basically, kobolds are just seen as smaller dragonborns, they are not for fearsome. So I'll let the specifications here. They lost their, let's say, status slash renown. Like speaking about like they lost their renown in from the point of view of the other kingdoms and races. And I think the last 3 bullet points should be referred to our dear silver bullet, because that's when things start to shift, right? Because we start from a situation of, let's say, balance, so kind of a static situation. There is a thriving kobold empire. The neighboring kingdoms are undermining, and they decided to invade the kobold kingdom right when they lost the king queen. Maybe this event could be the fact could come from the fact that the neighboring kingdoms were in league among each other. We don't know yet, but we know that the kobolds were unprepared for the invasion. Following this, they lost the war and they were enslaved and used as low-paid workers and lost the status renown. And now, how do we insert silver bullet in this whole thing? Like, because let me see the first message again, because I want to. So small scale version. Blah blah blah. Ah yeah, big scale one kobold found an item that allows mind control dragons. So she's a kobold with a dragon thrall that she used to run cult and army. Okay. And while she merely uses, you know what? We actually don't need to justify how or why she controls the dragon right now. Like it's not something we need. We know it's something she does, right? So we know that Silver Bullet has the ability to do this. Then it's something that can come up during the campaign or, well, later on. But the focus point here is that she can do it, right? She can control a feral dragon. Then this is too ominous. I'm sorry. Thank you. For the thrall dragon, she uses this ability to gather a cult slash. Do we want to call it a cult? Because I mean, yeah, it's kind of a cult of the dragon, but let's call it a cult for now. We'll find a better term. A cult to set on the path of vengeance. And that's also another very interesting point, because it's not like she wants to reconquer or get back the Kobold Empire. She just wants to have vengeance because fuck you guys, that's why. So okay. I mean, we are not forced to use the 7th bullet point. I mean, it just has to be a pitch that we know the meaning of, right? But the 7th bullet point is, I think the 7th point should be the end game of this of silver bullet, but the end game is not something you tell the players, obviously, because I think this is a nice pitch already to give the players, because you give them context about the history, what they're going to play. You tell them that silver bullet is something that is happening, She has control of this troll dragon also. They just will not know why or how, what's her end game. So you know what, 7 point would be silver bullet end game. Like the guide said earlier, we should focus on writing down the stuff, the things, and if something is missing, we need something specific, we just put the placeholder and then we eventually put the actual thing in. So that would make a lot of sense to me. So okay, let's go back again to see. Write down crafted bullet points, sell work to players. Okay, concise and focused, few clear sentences plenty. Most essential bits for establishing excitement, expectation, and tone. I think the tone is very clear in this in this pitch. Okay, so they know what to expect, what to find, not to find in the setting. Will help them create suitable character concepts. Okay. So yeah, now the question is, if I were a player and I would just read the bullet points, would that give me enough context on what to build and how to build as a character? So again, bullet point 1 is there was a thriving kobold empire. Simple enough. It's a thing that is very specific because nobody ever has like kobold empires. The neighboring kingdoms undermined and invaded the kobold kingdom while they just lost their king and queen, so they were unprepared for the invasion. Kobolds were enslaved and used as low-paid workers as a consequence, and they lost the status renown among other species. And at some point during these events, like in more recent times, I would say Silver Bullet has this kobold called Silver Bullet, like I would say raised to power because she has the ability to control this troll dragon, which we don't know how, we don't know why yet. And we know that she uses this ability to get her cult to get vengeance, basically, for how kobolds have been treated. Okay, and yeah, the last point would just be her endgame in terms of, like, does she want to just kill everybody? Does she just want to reconquer and reform the Kobold Empire? Does she want to go after all the slavers? It could be a lot of things. Ooh, hello! Thank you for the follow. So yeah, okay. You know what? But I'll put these ideas on the possible endgames just so that we don't forget about them. So, will it be kill everybody? Where's the question mark? Because I'm using an AZERTY keyboard, so my brain is not. Aha! Everybody, hunt down all the slavers, maybe. I said another one I already forgot. Kill everybody. Oh yeah, reform / reconquer the Kobold Empire. Maybe. We'll see about that. But okay, at least we've got the bullet points. We've got an idea. Okay. I think it can be a mix of conquest and murder. Like, she obviously wants to spread her influence, but a dead human isn't as useful as a soldier. Okay, 4 points. So she still got some kind of strategic mind. Maybe like first conquer everyone, then murder the slavers. Okay, so it could be recapped as gather enough power in order to overthrow the slavers, basically. I mean that would be the way that's the way I would put it down. Like she doesn't want to straight up go kill everybody. She doesn't want to straight up go and hunt down and stop the slavers. She wants to gather enough influence, enough power, and gather enough resources to actually be able to break the system. Which, mind you, would actually make her a very interesting bad guy, because, like, once the players get to the point of the adventure where they understand what she's doing, but and why she's doing that, they will be like, oof, I almost would like to help her. And maybe some players could actually decide to help her doing this, you know? Or maybe they could try to suggest an alternative way of doing things. So, okay. Okay, I'll keep these 3 points because might be useful as a reference. But she sounds interesting, like with this kind of, like written down like this, she sounds super interesting because, yeah, makes her very relatable to players. Nice. If you want to change anything, just type it down in chat. I'm putting down the ideas so that we don't forget anything. So we've got our pitch. Sources of inspiration. So again, we can put it down because we are following the guide. So it's just a matter of being complete. Sources of inspiration, but this will be more more on you, because I don't know what your sources of inspiration are for this for this concept actually. But I mean, I'm assuming, okay, like the D&D rules, because okay, kobolds are just part of the base rules, but as like as a storyline, I don't know where this could come from. Like there are a lot of books and movies talking about like slavery and overthrowing slavery and all this stuff, so it came to me while I was drawing. I mean, I guess that counts as a source of inspiration. So what was the drawing about, if I can ask? Because again, it's a very specific source of inspiration. Like if it's a specific drawing you were like working on, you could show it to your players while you are giving the pitch in the beginning of the campaign, right? Because I don't know, just dumb example, your drawing is a fish, right? And you give them and you just tell them, we're gonna play a campaign based on this. They will be like, what? And then you explain how you got to the concept, and it will be like, oh my god, I want to play it so bad. So yeah, what was the drawing about? I'm super curious. Again, if you feel like sharing, but I'll put it in the sources for now. I was trying to draw a kobold with a sword and thought, how could it be if those little you were menacing? Okay, I'll put these exact words in the source of inspiration, because like it's actually cool. Like again, imagine. What did I do? No, I know. Okay, phew. I only wanted to. I want to paste as plain text. Nope, doesn't like that. I mean, paste without formatting should be like... Why? Why is it so difficult to copy paste stuff? The hell, Windows? Please? Please be nice. Thank you, it wasn't that hard, you see? Okay. Back on track. So, I was trying to draw a kobold with a sword, and I thought, how could it be for those that were menacing? Okay. Yeah. Then again, maybe you don't need to show them the drawing, but you can tell them, yeah, I was trying to, like, I started from this concept, and then you, like, if these little lizards were menacing, they would have had a kobold empire, and then you start the pitch from there. So, okay. Like, again, we don't need, like, 3,000 sources. Like, if it's something very specific and very original and nice, it's enough to give players to work on, you know, because you just want to get them excited. So we'll get to the example in a second, just to see how well we did compared to the guide. Extra credit. Assemble a mood board. You can use an online resource like Pinterest to create an old school collage of images that put you in the right headspace. A mood board is a great resource for quickly introducing the tone of your setting to place. It can be a living document that you work on over time, possibly together, expanding it as setting grows. Start with a dozen or two visual references for places, characteristic style. As you work, think about how you decided what fit and what didn't. Make sure the mood board elements support or inform your bullet points. I never worked on a mood board. That's a very cool thing. Mood board. And we'll put the space here. Okay, and we'll try to find some images, I guess. Practice your pitch. Try explaining your idea out loud. First to yourself and then to some gamer friends. Though may not be the ones you intend to play with just yet. Yeah, okay, makes sense. But we already doing like, hello old friend. Ooh, Nix, hello. Oh my god, in your Kokoro, my little Kokoro. I was trying to draw a couple with this word. Okay, sorry, that was already the last message. So, just to catch you up, Nix. First of all, I'm doing it in English because our friend here in chat is like English, so yeah, no Italianing tonight, I'm sorry. Italianing will be reserved for our our own Discord. We are starting to create the like a campaign setting based on the engineer ideas, because it was just a cool exercise to do for the guide, and they had some ideas. I'm using they because I still don't know what pronouns to use. I don't want to offend anyone. So, but yeah. So yeah, we are just working on this concept of basically a Kobold Kingdom, like a fallen Kobold Kingdom campaign. I think that's actually like a very good recap of the thing. Like, yeah, fallen Kobold Kingdom, fallen Kobold Kingdom. Perfect. Like that's already something that you can give to players as a simple concept. We were saying extra credits. Assemble the mood board. We'll find images for that. Practice your pitch. Okay. Oh, let's see the example. Just I want to compare the official example of the guide to what we did so far. Uzrak, where gods walk. Sounds ominous. All of the examples in this book will focus on the world of Uzrak, a campaign world I'm making up for the OE D&D Retro Clone delving deeper by Simon. You can pick it up in softcover. Yeah, okay, advertisement. I mean, fair enough. They wrote the whole guide. Having said that, the setting is pretty much rules agnostic. Okay. The pitch. Player characters are human. That's already a very specific bullet point. Creatures that are either more or less than human come from interaction between gods and mortals, or from an ancient time. These creatures are feared and mistrusted, even if some have become human. I mean, this is not specifically. This is not generic bullet points. These are very, very like specific, and they are not one or two sentences. Like it's like, okay, because like we literally wrote one sentence for each one. Okay, okay. Iron tools are relatively new and are antithetical to magic. Most armor tools are made of bronze. Those who practice magic and creatures infused with magic react badly to contact with iron, so they get blisters and burns worse. Wearing iron interferes with magic powers. Iron weapons are +1 to hit and damage versus magical creatures. Thank you for the follow, Nix. Thank you. Wearing interferes with +1 to hit and damage versus magical creatures, but cannot be enchanted. Oh, Ray, you forgot to follow up until now. Okay, cool, thank you. King Poverty, hello, welcome. What will I say? Dangerous, but cannot be enchanted. Okay, so I remember weapons in that. Okay, they are already talking about game mechanics. Like I think we focus more on the actual just story history of of the world. Characters who do not practice magic may utilize magic items, but risk backlash if they also wear or carry magic iron, okay? There are only two classes, mages and fighters. Characters may dual class, but even one level of mage means gaining the weakness of to iron. Mages are playing with powers not meant for use by human mortals. At first, most mages tap lesser powers for their sorcery, but then get real power. Oh, but then to gain real power, many mages devote themselves to or are simply enslaved by a patron deity. Ooh, nice. And cleric spells are open to mages. Powers of chaos and law war over the fate of humanity. Humans are seen as a threat because of their proliferation, innovation, and innocence of resilience. The gods struggle to subvert, recruit, or destroy humans, treating them like pawns in some complicated and deadly game. Alignment matters. Do you think we could add more details to our bullet points, or these are just enough? Because I think this is already good material on which to make a pitch, because basically, like, if your idea is to make like this kind of fallen Kobold Kingdom, but with everything else that works like normal D&D, I think this is more than enough. But on the other hand, if you want to change the actual game rules and game mechanics and limit them, like in this case, then yes, we're gonna have to change some bullet points. But I think, yeah, I think the bullet points are good, otherwise we may overscribe. Yeah. You don't want to get, like, yeah. Okay. I am on board with that. And how are we doing today? We're good. First of all, we survived Monday, yesterday, which is, like, for my standards, already a great achievement. And today I was just working from home, just recovered from said Monday. So yeah. Sources of inspiration. Book covers by Gygax. Ooh, there's a link. Please tell me the Pinterest is still. Oh, okay. So this is the mood board that they imagined for that concept. So we can see a very tall tower. We can see they said there were deities and monsters, and most like players are supposed to be human, either fighters or magic creatures. But some magic creatures they came back mixing with humans. But yeah, from the references, it looks like something very, like, I think, gory / dark. So yeah, for sure not like your happy, high fantasy, heroic adventure. Like, this looks like they went for some more dark setting, I would say. Which I don't feel it's the thing we are looking for. Yeah, sorry, no, you were going to be... Yep. Sorry, I don't like seeing spam in the chat. Okay. We were saying... Then we've got the cultural atlas of Mesopotamia, okay, and the ancient Near East. Oh, that's where the probably deities and... Okay, yeah. So they actually wanted to take Mesopotamia as a reference for the deities. Arabian Nights, Entertainment, Dungeon Crawl Classic. So okay, they wanted to go, and then we have week 2. It's too early for week 2. Week 2 is next week. But nice, okay. So since basically I feel at least the bullet points of our pitch are okay. Sources of inspiration, we decided to go for the drawing because that's the spark that started the whole thing, so that's good. We want to assemble a mood board now. I mean, that's the only homework we have left. So I'll try to assemble it in the Google Docs here, but it will look very shitty. Let me see if I can just quickly. I don't even remember if I have, because I think I should, but okay, that was easy. Yes, 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 yes. So you know what? We'll create the mood board and we'll put the link in the document. Should you file? Ah no, ma questo perché this is to upload. Sorry. Sometimes my Italian just comes up because. Any idea on how to actually create a board or a collection of? Because nasconde, segnala. You know what? I think it's gonna be easier if we just put the images in the document. I think Steam Age England would be a very nice aesthetic. Ooh, like some kind of steampunky kind of like not really steampunky, but like Victorian era steampunk. If create them from the account page. Let me see. Ah. Okay, so yeah, it was the pin. So. But this is no, but this is just. Yeah, no, this is to pin the stuff that you already pinned. So, what if I can create a bacheca? Ah, yeah. Okay. We will call this Fallen Kobold Kingdom. Easy. Okay, and then we will eventually add the ideas. I mean, I think this is just generic. Plus all the coal mining. Yeah, okay. I think I get the aesthetic you're trying to go for. So let's try to say Victorian era steampunk. Not steampunk, steampunk. Because that is okay. This is maybe too steampunky, I think. So let me read again. Like that, mainly building aesthetic and overall look plus all the coal mining. Yeah. Steam Age England. Oh. Steam Age England. What could be like? Oh, there was that game, Bioshock. Bioshock Infinite. Because I think Bioshock is a little bit more down that alley. So, you know what, again, it's just a mood board, it doesn't have to really be that thing. So, okay, that's saved in the profile, but what if I want to save it in no. Okay, then we will never know. Ooh. Okay, this is too like Sky Pirates kind of thing. I don't think that's... Okay, this is like very like hardcore steampunk, but... Aha! That's where you save them. Okay. Ooh. Let's see this one. This one I like. There are like flying creatures, monsters with the airships and stuff. So I think that's cool to have as a reference. Okay. Let me put okay, Fallen Kingdom. Is there like anything called coal punk? Because that would be oh, there is noise. Like I think this is what we actually want to see, like kind of dark industrial, you know, cities and yeah. Yes, yes. Well, I'm saying yes. It's like it's your ideas, but I get this is kind of the vibe we want to go for. I like this. Also, I mean, since at this point we're collaborating on this thing, I'll just try to share the document and the pinboard as well, because I mean, why not? No, actually, before I forget, we can put this in anyone with the link. I'll put as commenter, because still I don't want to leave something in chat that can be modified by anybody with. And do you want to exchange discords? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no problem for me. I'm always happy to have a chat on Discord. Ooh, Diesel Punk Forge Master. This is nice. Like it would be so nice to have like kobolds trying to invent like armors for themselves to be a little bit more intimidating. That would be so nice as a concept. This looks like a slim Blitzcrank. I'll save him just because, like, it's fun to think about. I like this one as well. Oh, I would love so much to actually have this kind of armor, but for kobolds. You know, where kobolds are just building armors to be bigger. Kobolds Final Fantasy 14. Because they looked sick. They look so nice. Yes. These are the cool. I don't know if you play or if you played Final Fantasy 14, but these are kobolds in Final Fantasy 14. I think aesthetically they can kind of match what we're going for here. Oh wait, I saw another one that was nice. Okay, not a kobold, but still the concept of the armor and thing could be nice. So let's go back to the coal punk. I mean, we don't want to have like 3,000 images as a mood board, but we want to have enough to give the general vibe. So this is 100% AI, but kind of fits. I don't like the lights though. It like that's a little bit too technological, I think. This image makes me super sad. I don't know why, but I like it, so I'll just put it there. Like not as I like to be sad. I just I like the image. So yeah. Okay, so let's why? What the hell? Okay. I will not ask any more questions. Okay. Blah 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 blah. So this is my aha. Yeah, I think and I think this one actually from Bioshock doesn't match anymore. Like this one is kind of like, yeah. But the other ones are pretty fitting. So we will put this here, and as the guide says, it's gonna be like a living document. Like we'll update with images that we find eventually. But for now, that's Pinterest being Pinterest, yeah. Pinterest being very Pinteresty. Why do I unpin it there and it pops up back here? Like, it doesn't make any sense. The hell? Okay. Let's try to find something like Diesel Punk, maybe? Because I think... What did I write? Diesel Punk. Yes, Diesel Punk. Because what I would like to find now is some more like references for like maybe the clothes for humans, you know, that kind of stuff. Okay, no, this is too... Okay, this starting to be like too Second World War. It's just a bit too advanced. What else could fit this kind of bike? Should I just put the Discord at the bottom of the doc for now? No, you can. I'll send you the request now. Did you put it already? Ah, yeah, right. You can always. I'll just send you mine. Don't worry about that. Nothing happened when I clicked on the whisper. What the fuck? Whisper. I cannot whisper. I'll put it just... I mean, it's not like there's 1,000 people in the chat, so I'll just put it in the chat. At this point. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, I was thinking, what else? So let's read again the stuff so far. So, thriving Cobalt Empire. Ooh, what if we try with Fallen Kingdom? What can we find with this? Like, this is very dark, this is very, like, soulsy to me, but this reference, like, it fits the mood of the Victorian cold punky thinky. This is underground, we are not really going for that. These are just two bros chilling in nature, which is super nice. But that's not what we're going for. Ooh, I like this so much, like an underground cave with that would be so cool for anything but what we're doing. This is a coastal town, which kind of okay, because we see a lot of lights that could fit a lot the coal theme. Yeah, no, okay, these are starting to be a little bit too Ooh, one thing aesthetically, Sent, we liked you. You're a great guy. Oh, thank you. That's nice to hear. And what was I saying? Ah, yeah. What about the architecture? Like, do we want to find a specific type of architecture, or do we just go for plain Victorian era architecture? Like, as an example, for the campaign I'm running with my colleagues, I imagined, like, I didn't create the architecture because, like, there are no references for it. I had to get creative, but basically one of the old empire in which they are not playing anymore because it was the empire before the one they are in right now, was based on an aesthetic that mixes Gothic churches, like, you know, very, very tall churches, with Egyptian architecture. So basically you have, like, a pyramid that has the same pointy thingies and aspect, the very, very elongated aspect of Gothic architecture. So I don't know if I can find it's an Egyptian Gothic key. Probably because I remember I tried to find it, but didn't get great results. Yeah, I know, it's just. But yeah, basically, just to get to convey the point, it's basically this kind of aesthetic, like Gothic architecture, very tall, very pointy, but on pyramids. That's what I wanted to go for, and the inside of the pyramid, yeah, kind of looks like this, like very long corridors. So yeah, the question is like, what about the architecture for you? I was thinking 3 main cultures, kingdoms with different architecture. Okay, so each one their own. Okay, so let's start with the most important one, which is the kobolds. And kobolds are the ones that have the mines, right? So that would be Kolpunk architecture. I think those will be the easiest ones to find. Yeah. I think we'll go for something like this. Like it feels like this feels okay. It feels good. Feels fitting. This one is the same one we discarded earlier. Okay, lots of tubes. This is way more steampunky, but still kind of, I think it fits the mood we're going for. Oh, this one's perfect, I think. This one is really on point. Because if you look at this image and you imagine like a kobold empire built like this, you're like, wow. Imagine what kobolds could have done if they were allowed to keep going, you know, without being invaded. This is more of like the slums, but still okay. So yeah, I think like we don't need like 3,000 images for everybody, just to have an idea. Okay, so 3 main cultures and kingdoms. Okay, so in this case we have to understand who the other 2 kingdoms are at this point, because we've got the kobolds and we've got the 2 other kingdoms. So so either you play it safe and you just go with the elves and the dwarves, because I mean that's something you can always do. You can go for the human kingdom and then a mixed race kingdom. Because what I would imagine is that in the Kobold Kingdom you would include, like, naturally speaking, you would have still a lot of kobolds, a lot of dragonborns, a lot of dragons. So all the draconic races would still be naturally and historically attracted to that kingdom, so it wouldn't make sense to put them in a separate kingdom, right? What other races? This is like very down to do, but usually when I need ideas for races, I just go to wiki.sc. Okay, list of races. What can we pick? Because a lot of times you think about the common ones, but if you really want to be fancy, you can use the exotic as well. So, well, actually we don't need to know the other races, we just need to know the aesthetics we want to give them. If they have to have a specific aesthetic, because if they were jealous of the kobolds' technology, maybe they were actually pretty basic kingdoms, right? I would imagine like a normal kingdom that gets jealous of kobolds for their technology, it's just a kingdom that has like the very basic things in life. They don't have anything super super fancy. Wow, this one is super nice. I will use it for my campaign. Ooh, that's super cool. What could it be? Because I mean, if we want to go only for 3 kingdoms, it would be nice to give each kingdom like a very specific kind of aesthetic and vibe. Like this one I really like a lot. I don't know what it is, but I love it. Like this is very similar to what I had in mind for my Egyptian slash Gothic aesthetic. So I will save it because it's really nice. Roman inspired. Okay, this is definitely not Roman inspired. Sorry. Let's see, but let's check that. Roman architecture. Okay. And it would make sense because Roman architecture looks very like, it's not the correct term, but it looks very rocky. You know, it looks very like with materials that they come from the ground. Like they use a lot of mined, I would say, materials for constructions. So this could be actually could be like the human kingdom could be like the Romans actually, which would make it a great setting for like a Terra's campaign maybe. But this music's a little bit too. Okay, we need just to chill to find images. Thank you. This is like more Greeky, I feel, but still could be interesting for something. What else can we include? Like, it'd be nice to have like a third type of. What about? Ooh, what about Aztec architecture? Nobody ever uses that. But it's a little too jungly. Like, generally speaking, like it's kind of always very, very jungly. Lots of okay, maybe out of. What if I only write down 3 kingdoms? I don't know. At this point, we are just. Ah, yeah, it will give the Chinese, obviously, Chinese reference. Ah, but actually, I mean, like, ooh, what's this? No, it looks like King's Landing from Game of Thrones. So there are cool things, but there are very different types of cool things. Like, we have to pick carefully. Oh. Okay, there is like kind of oriental, like, kind of architecture. This could be nice for, like, you know, the classic desert region where you have the sun the whole time, some oases here and there. What's the plural of oasis? Oases? Sounds wrong. Anyway, that could be nice, maybe. because it looks civilized enough, but it doesn't look technological, you know, so that's kind of what we want to go for the other kingdoms. Like, the kobolds should be the ones having the most advanced technology with the steam engines, basically, and the other guys should be the ones trying to steal that for their own purpose. I like this kind of shaman thing because it's very general. It's not technological, so cool. Oh, you know what we could go for? Freljord from League of Legends, let's say, because that could be cool for the. You know what? I'll pin all the things that we find interesting. Then eventually, when we decide what the other races are, we will say, okay, this race fits with this architecture and this vibe. This is just to have all the general ideas. I like the idea of like buildings being built literally into the mountains. That's really cool. Okay. I think it's coming along pretty well. So since we have like I have 10 minutes left, then I have to just go to sleep because yeah, work again tomorrow. I wish I could stay up all night discussing this stuff, but life. So let's see again, because this is technically was supposed to be the week 1, so it was supposed to be the work we would do like until next Tuesday, basically. So of course we can still chat about it during the week and like decide some details, but basically I think we did the assignments, you know, because this is supposed to be week by week and do the assignments. So we created a notebook, we did develop our page, and we did gather the sources of inspiration, which in this case was only one, not because we are lazy, just because that was the source of inspiration. And the extra credit, we get that because we have a mood board, which is there. And then practice your pitch. This we would need players before we're going to do that. And so yeah, cool. This was actually nice. Before leaving everybody and saying good night to everybody, I will still stream this week, but I've got a different schedule for each day. I don't want to do the same things every time. So for this week we have, well, there was this guide tonight. We'll have I'll play Baldur's Gate 3 on Thursday, and then I'll do some session preparation and maybe solo adventuring on Saturday, but I still don't have any solo adventuring manual, so probably Saturday will be just session preparation for my campaign with my colleagues, and I'll just show how I prepare my sessions, and I'll just maybe gather some tips and tricks. We will discuss ideas, and so yeah, that's pretty much it for tonight. I thought we would fly over all this stuff, but actually it took the full 2 hours, which was nice. It was very, very fun. I mean, we started from nothing and now we have already, you know, kind of ideas. So that's nice. We'll see next Tuesday with week 2 what that brings. For now, I just wish everybody a good night. Thank you for the company, and we'll catch up very soon, either Thursday, Saturday, or next week directly. So yeah, we'll catch up on this for sure. Yeah, bye, good night.